Idris Elba is too street, aka to play James Bond. This, according to Anthony Horowitz, who's the new writer for James Bond, the James Bond franchise, I should say. And his latest novel, was it called Trigger Mortis? He was being interviewed, and they asked him about, potential cast of James Bond, and he was asked about Idris Elba, and his reply was, I believe he's too street, aka too. Basically, he's darker than, and possibly even darker than, you know what I'm saying? So, come on people, let's keep it real. We know what he meant. In his mind, Idris Elba is too black. Or at the very least, too associated to being urban, another code word for to play James Bond. So come on, we know that this is ridiculous. At the end of the day, in the world of acting, the point is to, be diverse, to be versatile, to be able to play different characters, maybe. Let's see if Elba has been able to do such things. Well, it looks to me like Idris Elba is what they call an actor, which means he can play different roles. Duh. Now look, let me just keep it real for a moment. Not a big deal, but I'm an accomplished writer. Not really, and literally not a big deal. But I am an accomplished writer. I've written a play that has been put on and produced at theatre. I'm also of the performing arts background, world, theatre. I've kind of, at least I've done auditions and etc. etc. I've kind of been involved in TV once or twice, radio plays, etc. etc. So I know the ins and outs of the acting world, the performing world. Okay, maybe not the full ins and outs, you know what I'm saying? I'm not famous, am I? But I know some information. I've had some experience in that realm. And I can tell you this, as a writer, as someone who has written, and as someone who is still, somewhat creative, I can say that, look, when you're writing, you do sometimes have an image in your head of what the characters that you are creating with your pen would look like, or with your typewriter, or with your, nowadays, whatever, iPad, or whatever it is people write on nowadays. So you do have an idea, a picture in your head of what these characters that you're creating look like. Now, the character of James Bond has already been created by someone else decades ago, and we've had different actors play James Bond, right? Generally speaking, they've all been of a certain type. But I can understand if that it could have been a genuine mistake. And I think it was, to some degree, a bit of a genuine mistake, because I read into it after I saw the headlines and everything, and he did mention the name of someone like Adrian Lester to play the part of James Bond. So, because I was thinking that if he really just felt that Idris Elba as an actor was not quite the right fit, but, he wouldn't be against a black actor being played, is there any black British actors that comes to his mind that he thinks would be a good fit for the role, And I asked you guys the same question, because, black British actors are not the most famous around the world, but believe me, there are plenty. Another name that might be, get thrown around, or but might be mentioned by others, might be Chiwetel Ejiofor. Alright, I'm saying it in a very anglicised way, okay? Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm probably not even saying it properly because I'm so anglicised myself, but whatever. So Adrian Lester, Chiwetel, there are plenty others, but the point is, if from a writer's perspective, if someone mentions a name and that was not the image you had in your head of that character that you've created, then you would say that. But to say that he's too street, come on, man, we know exactly what he means, okay? It's just, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that he was genuinely being racist and full of hatred in his heart, or do you think anyone that's been involved in the creative world, anyone who has been a writer or done any form of creative writing, do you think that he did misspeak? It was a slip of the tongue. He didn't phrase his answer the way he wanted to, or the way he should have. Obviously, we know it wasn't the way he should have, But was it a genuine mistake? He literally just phrased it in the wrong way, and he didn't intend to phrase it like that. You know, please chime in, because I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Now, Mr. Elba himself had a great response. He went onto Twitter and he said something along the lines of, one thing I've learned as a black person growing up in the West is that you will have criticism thrown at you, but you know, by different individuals, whatever. I have plenty of a diverse group of friends, and etc., etc. You know, I have plenty of friends of all colours, all creeds, etc., etc. But as a black person growing up in the West, you know, I've had discrimination towards me, you know, from all different walks of life as well, you know. But obviously, we live in a predominantly white populated country. I live in England, so you know, most of that criticism has come from people of that ilk, you know. So but obviously, because I have common sense and logic, I know that if I have one bad experience with one white person, that one white person does not represent the entire, you know, the entire range of white people, all right? So, and that's what irritates me sometimes with the whole migration thing, you know, like people just getting all umbrellaed into just one negative category, and it's not logical if you have any actual brain cells that you try and actually use, okay? So, Elba's response was great, always keep smiling, and that's the kind of thing, you know, you try and let it just wash off your back, and you just try and move forward regardless. You know, it's that thing of, you know, you have to work twice as hard just to reach a level platform as others. What I would definitely say is that it is a symptom of the fact that people never really consider the ethnic majority. People hear, you know, ethnic minority, etc. But if there's a minority of a certain ethnicity, then is there a certain ethnicity that is the majority in that country, right? And when the majority has the power, it's easy to overlook the needs and the wants of people that are in the minority, you know. So and it's not just a race thing. Look, this is the thing. This is my main point, all right? We live in a world that has been built on divide and conquer, and everything that we've inherited since then, just in terms of human society, has been mainly to do with division and you know, conflict, and you know, you're different, you're other, you know what I mean, I can't relate to you, or I refuse to relate to you because of the very fact that you look different to me, you know, you sound different, or whatever it is, whatever the discrimination comes from. It's usually just based on a whole sort of division and divide and conquer. Let me just say this one thing: the so-called 1% or the so-called 0.1%, they are all creeds and colours, mate. They're a whole fucking rainbow. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah? There's a 1% in China. There's a 1% in Nigeria. There's a 1% in Argentina. There's a 1% in Japan. There's a 1% in Australia. There's 1% all over the planet. And collectively, that 1%, they work together, all right? There'll be some kind of, you know, conflict and whatever that every group has. But believe you me, they are definitely a lot more organized and a lot more unified than the rest of us so-called 99%. Okay, and this is just another symptom of the mentality that we've inherited in terms of divide and conquer. Yeah, whether it's race, whether it's gender, whether it's sexuality, whatever it is. Oh, you're different, you're other, and therefore I refuse to relate to you because of that fact alone. Not. Let me find out your personality. Let me find out who you are as a human being. Let me find out what your character is. Yeah, are you of good character, or are you, you know, someone who's going to bring trouble towards me every time I interact with you? You understand what I'm saying? It goes beyond what you look like, yeah? What is inside, yeah? Deep, yeah, whatever. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to make that point really quickly. Please chime in, what do you think? Banjo Joe, ODTV, peace and love.